But what are some aspects of training that you wish somebody would have told you? And what are some concepts we should be teaching alongside training? Katie, if you want to go next.
Yeah. I wish the number one thing that I wish I could tell 16-year-old Katie is that it doesn't have to be so hard. It should be the right kind of hard, the hard that is satisfying, and you have the right to feel satisfied and never to just like accomplish a goal and then just raise the bar before you celebrate. So it doesn't have to be so hard, and it should be more fun than it is hard. It should be the right kind of hard and not the wrong kind of hard that makes you just feel like you want more and more and more and you can never be satisfied. I wish I would have known that running will not fix my body image issues, and being smaller will not fix how I feel about myself and how other people perceive me. And I wish I had known that if I would have let myself be who I truly was, I would have been a better runner and a better person at the time. I would have been, um, just more present, kinder, able to give more than I could, when I was in the midst of just trying to continually just take from myself. And the facts I wish I had known were about women's health. I wish somebody had told me how important a menstrual cycle is. I repeatedly asked my healthcare providers if it was okay that I didn't have a period, and the answer was yes, that's fine. And I got a number of bone stress injuries in college. So I just wish I had made that link sooner. And I wish that somebody had just kind of sat me down and told me that, you know, overtraining is what you're doing, and you're going to be slower and injured because of it. And I think I really would have responded to that. And so that is my, a message that I try to get through, especially to young female athletes. And also, I wish I had known how emotional health was linked to overtraining and trying to just always do more and strive for perfection. I wish I had known, or someone had told me that being perfect wouldn't make me happier would for long, and wouldn't make me emotionally satisfied or as well-rounded of a person as I would have hoped to be back then. So overall, I just wish that I had known more about women's health. And I guess I just kind of, I don't know, I just didn't have that person telling me like this is how it is. I kind of felt like I could maybe trick everybody, trick myself into believing that what I was doing was okay, and running yourself into the ground is justified for some reason. So yeah, I just wish I had known a lot more on that front.
Yeah, exactly. I feel
Yeah.
that same way. Nicole.
Um, I feel like mine's like Benjamin Button of like my running got worse as I got older. Um, and like I started feeling like I'm not super type A, but I have some like type A tendencies. So like I wouldn't be driven all the way by perfection or perfectionism. But then like as my mental health struggled, that's why I started going more towards the end of my career.
Do you,
Um,
if I could like interrupt you for 1 second, I wonder, do you think like some part of like the toxic side of sport, like did it kind of feed, like go into your like mental state, like feed into your state because you're kind of like not doing as well, and it kind of like snowballed?
yeah.
Do you
So
think?
the tapes, go ahead, finish, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just wondering if you think that that was kind of part of the impact, because it seems like the more you were aware of it, the more it like kind of ate away at you.
Yeah, so I think like as my mental health kind of deteriorated and like the internal pressure that I had been putting on myself, like because the voices that I would think of were from like college. And so it's like they didn't necessarily like apparently didn't bother me. Yeah, I don't know. It's like I started internalizing things that didn't bother me and then started internalizing them. And like a lot of the things I internalized was like people that I don't even like respect their input. And those would be like the tapes that were like playing. And then my own tapes of like, you know, you gotta run a certain pace. And like, I didn't get out for my run at the perfect time. Or like, I trained in South Carolina for a little while and it was a toxic environment. And then it made me like be toxic after that. I was like, oh, if I don't run by like 8:30 in the morning, like, does the run even count? Like, of course it counts. Like, oh, oh no, did I miss the period of refueling afterwards? Oh, the whole thing was a failure. Like, oh, I didn't want to go for a run. Oh, I'm a failure already, even though I went for the run and it was just a base run and just needed to be fine. Like, yeah, I don't know. Does that answer?
No, do you think what would like if like that was happening in your brain, like what is something somebody could have told you or you told yourself to like or the perspective that changed now? Like could you have told yourself something to get you out of that?
I think I just was so zoomed in that I see things now on social media that like could have helped me then.
Mm-hmm.
I know that obviously social media has good and bad raps, but like I like thought I wasn't doing my like recovery time well enough. Like at the time, the culture in the sport as I saw it was like you have to be not doing anything else. That's the only way you're gonna run fast is to like be only running and you got to do everything perfect. And like that's just I could tell that I had like gotten further from like my own personal source of like let's throw back to like 21-year-old Nicole who was like big picture, like one bad workout probably wasn't that bad of a workout, just go have fun, go do the things. Like I was the person on the team that people would run slow with because they were like, oh, Bush is going to run slow and I think I need to run slow today, so I'll run with her. Like to then fast forward to being like, am I running fast enough? Is my turnover okay? How should my foot be hitting the ground? Like these are all things I knew. I just was overthinking everything. And so I mean, people like when I went back to work with Drent, he was like, you don't have to do any of these things. I'm like, but I have to. And some of that's because money was involved and like livelihood, but also, my identity. Like I had been a high level runner for so many years that it's like I just forgot how to do the things and like forgot how I got there. And like in the back of my head, I knew that, but just the depression and the anxiety was just eating away. And I had isolated at times when I shouldn't have. And
Mm-hmm.
I wish someone had been like, don't fucking isolate yourself because we're not meant to be alone. But instead of, moved to California by myself and was like, I'm good. I'm good, but I made the conscious decision to not make friends for the first 4 months that I've lived here because I just need to focus.
Yeah. Is there anything that like would have like I guess going back to like what could have like been taught alongside of training that might have like helped that situation?
I just needed to see other runners doing different things.
Mm-hmm.
That would help because like I'm certain people told me things, but I was like, nah, you're wrong. I do have to be more perfect. Like, yeah, but now like I see people like just doing other things and starting other endeavors and like I mean, even just people who are moms and running at a high level, just even seeing that would have been helpful. Like just to see that like it wasn't this laser focus that I was just, yeah, it's like, oh, I'm not focused enough or I'm not as rigid as everybody else. Because when you get to that level, a lot of like female distance runners are very rigid and very type A. And so I was like, oh, I'm not that. Maybe I'm not a runner because I'm not as like engaged in that way. But yeah, I don't know. Not a lot of things would have helped other than seeing various examples because I'm sure people told me.
Yeah.
And I was not. They were wrong.
Yeah. That's a good point though, like to see representation of like mothers and that were also runners because that's obvious. I mean, you have to just look at it and be like, oh, obviously this isn't their whole world because they have a child that they are taking care of. So it's like an obvious situation where you have to be like, okay, well, I can do other things. Like giving yourself permission.
Yeah, where there wasn't like I was just, I was like crippled by indecision and like thought everything had to be perfect. And yeah. And now social media is bigger and you can see more of what people are doing. It's obviously still curated and it can be bad in other ways, but
Yeah.
even seeing it now, I'm like, oh, it still helps me now a little bit, even though it doesn't apply as much anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, a lot of mine was like mental health related and just not having the information.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you guys. I have to go.
Okay.
Sorry, I was so interested. I ended up saying twice as long as I was going to.
Did you want to answer the question before you left?
Oh, mine's super short. I wish I knew
Okay.
what the heck physical therapy was. Like
Yeah.
that would have helped a lot. It's super simple. Yeah.
Yep. That's good.
All right, well, thank you guys for having me. Yeah, let me know when you guys are having your next one.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. We will. Thank you so much for jumping on last minute.
Oh, my computer just froze too. So, all right, nice to meet you guys.
Okay.
Bye. Nice to meet you.
So I'll go into mine and then we'll go. We have like 2 more questions and then we're done. That was really, really good though. Nicole, thank you for sharing that. So yeah, so aspects that I wish someone would have told me. Man, this is hard because I'm the same way, Nicole. I probably wouldn't have listened to a lot of what people have said, and I didn't think that they would know. And I thought everything was wrong. When?
Can I interrupt you?
Yes, of course.
Something that would have changed it is someone was like, you need to get on antidepressants.
Yeah.
But in a real way, not like you need to be medicated, but like
Yeah.
someone legitimately being like, hey, what you're dealing with, that's not normal.
Mm-hmm.
That would have later the idea comes, but yeah.
No, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
And I think like our perception on like medication, it's probably like not something that you would come and think about yourself either, because that wouldn't be anything that's in your world. So
Yeah.
that's a good point. Yeah, so I think for me, I guess I think representation, like Nicole was saying, would be helpful. And then I would say that, that's hard. I was such a stickler. I'm trying to think of what would help me. I think that if I would have saw somebody like Nicole, I mean, like you were like less worried about, and that was good energy to be around with somebody like that. That's probably also why I was so close to Jenna, because she was really just a free spirit and like was complete opposite to me. I really try to befriend people who have that less of like type A and are just like really relaxed and like that kind of energy about them. Like that's what I always want to be like. And I think what we should be teaching is just there's different ways to be an athlete, and more isn't better. And I think we probably could have like said that out loud. Like even if we had said that out loud in practice or something like that, I think that would have helped, just because I think, I don't know if it's like specifically women or women athletes, but it doesn't seem like we need that much coaches pushing us. I almost feel like it's the other way around. We need somebody to like slow us down, because we want to do, so we have like this internal fire that we want to do well by ourselves. We don't need anybody to tell us that we need to train harder or do better. And so that's what I would say. Somebody who I looked up to, if they had said that, instead of walking into my freshman year, I walked into a room, and I won't say who it was, but saw an athlete who had an eating disorder. And I just thought, oh, that she's really good. That's who I want to be like. And that was something that stuck with me for a really long time, unfortunately. So yeah, I think just somebody speaking out about that, I think would have been really helpful.